So after our long excursion yesterday in our favorite park, I hope the background is okay and the sunlight too. Today we are just using it as a rhythm with extensive excursions the one day and a bit shorter the next, just according to the energies and also his energy, mine too. And the weather. It's gonna be warmer today, and so it's ideal to just stroll, sniff around the neighborhood a bit and shorter distances, maybe combined with a fountain or something to refresh, or let them graze like this. So I'm finding a more quiet spot at the moment where I can tell you a little bit about what challenging moments can happen in such a short period of time again, and how there's sometimes no way of escape. So on one of the grass patches we had a very nice encounter with a poodle spaniel mix dog. Very happy, very sensitive dog, also with a good sense of space, how much space to leave and how close to come, which is always a key for him to be harmonious with another dog in an encounter and not have all this total up close, up front kind of encounter, you know. Okay, so then the temptation can be there to let him run so that they can have a full energetic run and play. But with grass patches and all sides open, there can always be a surprise coming around the corner, and so often I've been glad that I didn't risk it unless I can see really far and know what the situation is going to be. Yeah, he can graze some more. He wants to go. There's a Nein, Rico. There's a rubbish bowl filled with rainwater, and of course he thinks it can only be for him. But you have water at home, and I don't know what's in there, so you stay here with me. Yeah? Come. Some grazing for you. Nee. On his mission to claim property. Okay, so of course it doesn't last long if there's a lucky situation. There will be interference. It's actually seems to be some of the natural laws, no matter what. It's not specific to dog encounters. I experience it if I'm talking to someone. The more you laugh and loud, and someone will pass in the middle between the two of you standing talking, just to harvest some energy, it seems, or I don't know, disturb or be mindless. Disturbances are everywhere, it seems. So there comes his favorite dog breed, French Bulldog. And the person, but on the leash luckily. But still, it's a third party arriving, so his defense mode sets in. Komm, wir können ein bisschen wandern, ja? I'm gonna let him walk a bit. And then the owner didn't really notice that my dog was already getting angry, but was following his dog. So the dog pulled, as they often do, with lots of tension towards us, and the owner just following, you know. So I was trying to make out which way is he gonna go, so I go the other way. But if the owner is following the dog, there's no way I can escape, you know. So with that tension building up on the one side, a second tension was adding from a second side, which was, let's see, we're gonna paint the other way now. Gonna paint this way. From the other side, a tourist couple with a map in their hand came up to me because there's a point of boats excursions, something, and they wanted something to know about the plan, it seems. So in the middle it's me trying to hold the dog firmly, him raging already, and the lady comes up, and I can be the only one now to answer that question about her boat departure schedule, yeah, or what? Definitely not. And then she saw how he's raging, started laughing at it. And then I thought, nee, I've recently listened to a video on the Carl Jung sequences. Fractal Wisdom, I think the YouTube channel is called. I like it a lot, And then they said, for empaths, maybe the solution is to be the villain. And then I just let go and said what I thought. I said, nee, it's not funny and I'm not answering any questions now. And then I left the middle of that kind of pliers grip of the dog coming our way the one side and the person wanting a question answered the other side. Because there was the dog owner of the French Bulldog man. She could have asked him. There was that Poodle Spaniel mix man. She could have... Nee, they asked the person that's in trouble already. I never understand those... Okay, he knows now. This is gonna take some time. Very good. Sehr gut. Ja, gemütlich. And it's also a nice cool spot in the shade and with a cool wet grass. Very, very tolerant and friendly of you, so I can continue this conversation here. And now there was the next situation. We had to pass a subway station entrance. On the top there's bicycle stands. So I always, whether it's on street crossings or anything, I try to wait with him a little bit off the main crossing so he can see everything in front of him, because he also doesn't like stuff walking into his heels, as we don't either. And so he has an overview and enough space to the sides. And when there's something like that entrance there and the bicycle stands, I was to the side somehow in between the stuff that everything could move around and wouldn't come up to us. Okay, I know the setting sounds a bit complicated, but the woman with child on the bicycle and herself also pushing the bicycle, wanting to park it now, could have only continued the street and then parked it on the bicycle stands. Nee, she had to push the bicycle in between the entrance, the bicycle stands and us, in order to then, the most narrow possibility, that's what it boils down to, which was a complicated left-right turn thing where she could have just straight and landed there, which is how I proactively choose my spots to kind of stand safely, because the natural flow doesn't get interrupted. Nee, but they choose the complicated, go in between, where there's no space, and squeeze yourself with your vehicle, bicycle in between. I just don't get it. And of course he reacted, And actually when I call so many titles of my video reactive rescue dog, it's just because that's what it's called, and people then who have similar challenges will find it and see how one could intuitively deal with situations. As I come up with situations that I cannot control all the time, and that's why I call it navigating also. But in actual fact, there's nothing wrong with neither the dog nor our sensitivities, because in a world of respect, to allow the right space that human beings and any being takes up, plus some space around it, respectfully, there wouldn't be any boundary injuries or any reactivity that you need to signal. It's only always, ja, wir gehen gleich. Ja, gleich gehen wir, Baby. Ja. It's only basically his acting out to correct something that should be known in the first place, It's not like... I think you're getting what I mean. If you're listening to this anyway. But because the world has become more mindless, more space invasive, and lacking courtesy and politeness, I don't know, but just respectfulness. Therefore, sensitive beings like dogs and some humans need to re-establish those natural laws which should be okay in the first place, you know? Yeah. So now we can move on, yeah, Rico? Okay? Too many flies again? Nee, the flies belong to the same domain here. Goes another of his favorite vehicles, those cargo bikes. Luckily it's not coming our way. So Rico, I just wanted to summarize and ask the question again. Oh, the sunlight is coming from the other side. Here we go. Is a rescue dog, a reactive rescue dog, really being reactive? Or is he simply attempting to restore common sense? Because I'm convinced that in a world that function sounds so mechanical, but where people's interactions are based on mutual respect, and that includes actually all the rest, you know, allowing enough space for each other to be where you already physically occupy a certain space. There can be no other in that same space, you know. So I think this reactivity thing is one to recognize what we're talking about, but they have a better sense for human behavior and disbehavior. He even knows the traffic rules better, you know, to restore to common sense, you know, like if getting rid of the stress overload. Very good. Some grounding here. You know, if those food deliverers with their bicycles packed with rattling luggage boxes, cooling boxes, and veiled and concealed faces just with eye slits and turbans looking out. That can be threatening if at high speed with e-bike noise they're rattling up front on the sidewalks. What must the dog think, you know? What must even a normal pedestrian think? And so you can see how he's checking but also relaxing, because at the moment there's enough space around us, and snorting like a horse. Warte noch? Noch warten. Some more stress release.